Hi everyone, this is Dr. Aitsi-Selmi for another episode of Wise Wednesdays. How do you heal from a toxic culture or toxic work culture? I work with a lot of people who are thinking of leaving their jobs or who are thinking of creating their own business, who want to create better work conditions for themselves. And sometimes it means staying in the job, but negotiating better terms and conditions and also taking up more leadership. Actually, all of those options involve stepping into more leadership. Number one, more self-leadership, and number two, more leadership out there in the world. But how do we do that? I was at a retreat recently that looked at our relationship to work and to money, and it reminded me of how much baggage we carry, how many myths and limiting beliefs we carry. There are ones that are very overt in the culture, but there are also ones that are a little more subconscious that we've internalized over time. And this is where the whole mindfulness agenda or any system of thought or philosophy or spiritual tradition comes in, when it essentially asks us to be responsible for our thoughts and our actions and to choose more wisely. So there are different ways of doing this. There are different approaches. You've probably tried some yourself. And today I want to talk about 3 steps that I came across this week at Martin Aylward's retreat. And there are others. For example, Pema Chodron talks about the 4 R's. Tara Brach has the Rain of Compassion, RAIN, and you can find these things online easily. So I'm just going to talk about one of them, which is the 3 C's. And this is a system, or this is a little process you can use at any time to tune into your own experience and start to make sense of it and start to distinguish between what is something that you've taken on, a limiting belief or a cultural myth that you've taken on and is actually stopping you from evolving and progressing and flourishing and is keeping you trapped, and something a bit wiser. And an option or a possibility that's a bit wiser that is calling you to step into. And as you do this process over and over again, you start to overcome or heal that toxicity. And a hallmark of the cultural toxicity, or what I would say is toxic, is this experience of being caged, this experience of being small and contracted, which reduces our quality of thinking. And 2, reduces our ability to be powerful agents in our life. It reduces our ability to act, to take effective, fruitful, wise action. So if you notice this about yourself, whether it's something acute in a situation or something chronic that's been going on for a while, know that that feeling of smallness and feeling sort of caged isn't your natural state. That is not a good, healthy state to being, and it can be overcome. It can be healed, it can be released, and you can recover a sense of your natural power and natural agency and sense of leadership of your life and in your environment. So the 3 C's. Number 1 is contact. So contact means contact with your experience. Often the culture requires us to use our knowledge and our minds and our left brain, our rational, logical thinking, and that cuts us off from our emotions. And more damagingly, it cuts us off from our intuition. Our intuition is that felt sense of where what should be a natural step. It's our felt sense of the truth of a situation. It's our felt sense of our experience and what's true for us. And over time, we're often cut off from it to the service of culture and expectations from institutions, society, family, and so on. So contact with our experience can help us reconnect with that healthy felt sense of what's true for us in any particular moment. And it can be there's a little caveat or there's a side effect of taking this medicine, and that is that you will feel uncomfortable. There will be discomfort. You may touch on emotions that are uncomfortable, like fear or anger or sadness. You may understand certain things that you were blind to or trying to ignore that are not pretty truths. They may be ugly truths in the relative sense, but they're truths all the same. And it's just a matter of aligning with that and seeing that, okay, that's the reality of the situation. It doesn't really say anything about me or others. It just says that this is the situation. So that's a little caveat or warning of the side effects of contacting our own experience. But that discomfort is healthy. It means you are in reality. You're not in fantasy, living in a sweet, imagined world that actually cuts you off from your real life and your real possibilities. The next C is curiosity. So once we've contacted this experience and we're aware of what we're feeling or thinking, next is the curiosity, because it's easy to fall back into conditioning and say, oh, if X is happening, then I should do Y. But if you're starting to become more self-aware, then you'll start to realize that that's not necessarily how things should go. Just because that's your habit or it's your conditioning doesn't mean that that is the right choice. So curiosity is the balm or the antidote to kind of rigid, unhelpful, habitual action and thought. So there are different processes you can use around this. But one very simple question as thoughts start to arise is, well, is this thought true? Is what I'm thinking or the judgment I'm making true? And as you keep asking that question, then you start to get deeper and deeper into what is really true for you. For example, you might think something might happen, or you might get rejected from something, or something goes wrong, and you start to judge yourself. You start to be very harsh with yourself and say that, well, you'll never manage to succeed, or you never get things right, or you're always this or that or the other. And the converse is blaming someone else. Oh, they're always like this is never going to change, it's never going to go away. And that may be true, but until you apply that curiosity in a calm fashion, giving yourself time to come to land somewhere and not be caught up in some kind of reactivity, until you give yourself that time, you can't really know for sure. Because knowing the truth of your experience isn't an intellectual exercise. It's a felt sense. It's a lived, embodied sense. So being curious, and if you do nothing else, just giving yourself some time before you respond to a situation will make a huge difference. It'll start to break the chain of reactivity in your everyday life or in a particular situation that you find challenging. So giving yourself more time to be with the experience and ask questions around it. A simple one being, is this true? Is what I'm thinking now true? In terms of action, it could be, is this what I really want? Or is this what I really want to do? And you don't need to get an answer immediately. Often we get stuck because we don't like not knowing the answer. And that perpetuates the feeling of stuckness. So not knowing the answer is okay. Just give yourself some time and be with whatever discomfort comes up, but allow yourself the time and the space to be with that experience and unpack it, if you like. You're unpacking the components of that experience so you can be much more sensitive and much more aware to the thoughts, the motivations, the feelings that are associated with whatever happened, and you can land somewhere that feels true and right for you. So give yourself time to be curious about your experience. And then the final C is care. And treating ourselves in a way that's caring, in my experience, is not that common. Most people are very harsh with themselves, especially people who are high achievers, high performers. They tend to have a very strong inner critic, have very high standards, very high expectations, and they can neglect their own needs, their own need for space, their own need for calm, their own need to be understood and to be received. And it's a kind of self-respect and a self-dignity to care in this way for our experience and for our truth, to be able to live in our truth, not in the truth of the culture or the truth of other people's expectations. So caring for ourselves, caring for your experience, one, through being curious and giving yourself time, but also through taking the appropriate wise action. You may need to remove yourself from a situation. You may need to step up maybe in a negotiation and engage with more courage. Or you may need to do nothing. You may need to just wait and give yourself some space to see how things unfold before you respond. And if you're a doer, that can be an uncomfortable space, and you'll act prematurely and create more material and more confusion, more reactivity potentially. So watch out for that, and make sure you're caring for yourself and for your experience. And incredible things can happen as a result of repeating this process, and certainly healing from that toxicity of feeling small and caged in and constantly under pressure. But also seeing that your life starts to feel it has more balance, more ease, and the things that you wanted that was so hard to get to can occur more easily with less effort and less struggle on your part. And I would say that the best medicine to heal or to overcome cultural toxicity at work or in life is to succeed on your own terms, in your own time. So I think I'll leave you with that, and hope that this has helped you in some way to see your experience with more clarity, and giving you some practical steps as well, wherever you are in your situation, in your career, or in your life. So thank you very much for listening today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your attention and presence. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to contact me or leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel or to Wise Wednesdays, and I look forward to connecting with you even more soon. Have a good week. Bye-bye.